Welcome to First Look. I'm your host, Scoot. Nikki, she's in Italy. She's absolutely travelling better than all of us here. But welcome to First Look, a review and a little sneak preview show of the latest in AFL and NRL circles. MG joins me out of the Melbourne studio. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Scooty. Yourself? Back filling in?
Yeah, exactly. Just the super sub here, and finally the sun's shining and it looks good all week. So a little bit of rain around, but I think it's going to turn now in the sunshine state. Toprope, how are you, brother?
I am absolutely magic, Scooty. Could not be happier. Up and about for a Monday morning. I have the taste of blood in the mouth. There is blood in the water. I am very, very excited.
Press conferences are cancelled. There's players. It looks like a bit of a media ban on the players. So obviously Trent Barrett is in big, big trouble. And being a Canterbury Bulldogs fan, how do you feel?
I couldn't be happier. Could not be more delighted. He should never have been hired in the first place. I did give him a chance for about a month, found out what an absolute plonker he was, and I've been driving him ever since. So glad to see it finally coming to fruition. I did run a poll on Friday night to see whether a journalist called Mike Mehalwood's dog or Trent Barrett would be better suited to coach the Bulldogs. With an overwhelming 93% for Mike Mehalwood's dog. So that's the state of Canterbury fans who've been after an abhorrent performance on Friday night, where it looked like none of the players had met before. Only half had seen a football. Maybe a third spoke English. It was pretty clear that they had not been given one iota of coaching. So good riddance to Trent. He'll be gone other side tomorrow, and the Bulldogs start another rebuild.
Same could be said about Melbourne Storm Saturday night, but they were missing a couple of players, and you were almost mortally wounded with that one. But MG, speaking of coach sackings, the GWS, they didn't send Leon Cameron off in fine style.
No, I couldn't get the job done. They were pretty ordinary, continuing their own form, I guess. So they were off the map, Scooty. I think Carlton reached 5 or 6 point favourite at one stage. Obviously lost Mackay, but when the news came, everyone wanted to be on the Giants send-off. It didn't happen. It wasn't close, actually. It was pretty disappointing from the Giants. And, it's good to see the NRL look like they're jumping on the bandwagon, Scooty. They don't want the AFL getting one over and with the coach sacking. They're going to follow up this week and try and get the limelight back on their sport.
I think the NRL got them covered at the moment. They just seem to be oscillating, and it's not in a good way, the AFL. If there's talk of this, like these new barbecues or throwing money at the MCG sort of problem. Is that to solve the lack of crowds and lack of interest at the moment?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Scott. I think the game's got off to a pretty ordinary start this year. Coming out of a couple of years COVID, you'd expect the crowds to be flocking back. But, the game's got some problems for sure. I think the gap's widening between teams. We see, there was only one game of any note that was close in the round just finished, which we'll go through shortly. And upcoming in round 10, we've only got one game that's inside of 20 points at this stage, early markets for closeness or competitive games. So, the great divide happens. And then obviously we've just got continuing week after week, the poor goal kicking, the umpires are struggling, the dissent rule's clearly not working. So, the AFL's got some problems, and the crowds are speaking with their feet.
And the talk of some expansion clubs would only deepen the gap or deepen the divide, I would have thought. Let's have a quick look at the AFL results first. We'll talk more NRL shortly, but the Western Bulldogs are slowly getting some of their good players back. 99-51 over Collingwood, who seem to have run their race for the year. The Tigers, with Martin, look a better side. 117-94 over my Hawks, who maybe just starting to think about the draft picks at this stage. Port Power are back in business, and again, similar to the Western Bulldogs, they're starting to get a lot of cattle on the park, 115-46, a big win there. And then the Saints come back against the Cats, 90-80, and then Swans polished off Essendon, who are in absolute licorice all sorts, the Bombers. Not sure what's happening with them. I tipped them up huge in the preseason, and it's egg all over my face, and it's disgusting to watch them at the moment. The Brisbane Lions, team of MGs, workmanlike at the moment, 102-66 against the Crows, and Gold Coast, the Sunny Boys. I've been pretty critical of the Suns, but a nice surprise upset win over Fremantle, 69-33 in slippery conditions. Carlton look a good side, Mackay or not, 105-75, as we mentioned before, and the most unwatchable game of football and TV for quite some time was Melbourne defeating the West Coast Eagles 112-38. So I think the TV ratings would be down the toilet, and I found myself flicking over to rugby league many times across the weekend. So it's, I guess, music to Toprope's ears. But there's a heap of lopsided contests, and it's a shame that this week will be no different. All right, week 9, there was the bookie wrap here is 6 of 9 favourites hit the line, 6 of the 9 covered, 5-9 was the total, and then the home teams 3 and 9. And then for the season, it's 56.81 at 69% the faves. And then the covers, 45 out of 81, so a 55% cover rate. So the lines are getting pretty accurate here from the boys at Top Sport and the rest of the market. Total overs, 47 and 81, and then the home teams have got a slight edge over the season, but that would be a little bit down. The AFL Stings round 9 results. MG, how did you see him there?
Yeah, it's a solid week. We've had a couple of weeks in a row now we've showed positive, so we've actually got back to the season on even keel at the moment. Had a solid week, got off to a good start, 3-0. Going into the Saturday night, I thought might do a top rope-like performance, but unfortunately, bad kicking in the Sydney and Essendon total. They kicked 20 goals, 32 between them to run dry on the total there. They kicked about 50-something in the first quarter. I thought that was cruising. Fremantle obviously very disappointing against the Gold Coast. The bubble might have burst on Freo. They were building them up big time, top 4 team and stuff, and going to Gold Coast, and were their worst performance of the year. And that game was unwatchable as well. That was, I know I say it every week, but geez, the catalogue's getting bigger and bigger for the unwatchables this year. And then the Melbourne West Coast, they got off to a bit of a flyer early, but then Melbourne do Melbourne, and another under total for them. So, yeah, not a bad week, Scooty. Richmond did the job. Your team that you love to hate, they're back in my good books, getting the job done both with the line and the total there.
Well, if you just stay off them, it'd be better for everyone's sanity, mine and yours. But let's have a look at the futures market and the Ds. I tell you what, they'd be in every futures multi, I would have thought. $2.40 at Top Sport. Brizzy Lions $5. Fremantle Dockers 11. Swans 13. Geelong $14. Carlton 15. Richmond Tigers 15. The Doggies $19, and the Saints 21. Port Adelaide, if they can get their season back on track, 26 may look a big price, but Collingwood round out the sides under 100 to 1 with GWS Giants. They're missing a 0 at $81 there. But I tell you what, I couldn't back any team to run down Melbourne with stolen money. I'd rather give it to charity, that's for sure.
Just quickly on the Premiership market, I think the bookie's going to be broke or bust this year, with obviously the NRL's only got a couple options there as well, and Penrith are obviously really short. So what you're saying there with the futures of everything going through Melbourne, it's either going to be broke or bust for the bookies. Yeah, the only one I'm going to stick fat with Brisbane. I think they're going well. I know they're missing 2 forwards at the moment, but Hipwood made a good return for Brisbane, and when they get their full forward line back, they could give Melbourne some trouble. But outside of that, Top Sports fair dinkum on the second page there, they can take all those teams down. What you said, beyond Collingwood, they don't need to bet any of those, Scoot. They're non-betting options.
The Brownlow medal, is there any excitement around this? Because I tell you what, that futures AFL market is looking pretty grim. Paddy Cripps is obviously a noted polar. He's at 260, locking in 450. Petrarca 7, Brayshaw 7. Sorry, Brayshaw $9, and then Clayton Oliver $11. Instinctively, I think the Ds are going to poll really highly, but Patrick Cripps and someone like Sam Walsh at $16, the Blues are going to really hammer home the votes there. And I would have thought, as a pickle looking into that market, the medal would be going to someone from either Carlton or the Ds. MG, prove me wrong.
Oh, I think, Cripps is short, and Carlton with the draw they've got, and obviously why they keep winning, there's very few players that can take votes off him. He's far too short, though, under the market, but I understand why the bookies are trying to crunch him in. But I still think Neil, obviously, he's past winner. He's piling very well, and he just keeps standing out the side that's probably close to guarantee for top 4, Scooty. So he probably provides more maybe the obvious pick outside the favourite. Now, I think Oliver, I know he's got Petrarca and Gawn around him, but I just think he's consistently going well, and at the price, he's probably still my value pick.
Okay, so there's a tiny little bit of meat on the bone there. The Coleman, Tommy Lynch, 360 for the Tigers. We got Tom Hawkins, 470. Jeremy Cameron is 570, and Max King, $7. Charlie Curnow, $7.50, and Astronaut Aaron Norton, $10. Peter, 2 metre Peter, I like this bloke, $11, and Texas Walker is $14. Joe Danaher, $15, and Bailey Fritsch. I love this bloke. And a little bit of same-game multi-business too, $17. And then the boudoir is $18, and that rounds out all the chances under 20-1 there. Any meat on the bone there, MG?
Yeah, not too keen on the Coleman at this stage. Mackay's obviously he got injured on the weekend, and we obviously lost Danaher as well the week before. So a few of the soldiers going down, but all big boys only up on the pages there, Scoot. No small forward pockets that were in the mix early this year, last year for sure. So yeah, I'm not sure if Tom Lynch starts kicking straight, he misses a lot of goals. He should be probably maybe the pick, but at 360, I can't come into him.
Looks like MG's starting to hit a bit of form with his sting. So $22 a week, and you'll get his previews there. Very in-depth, and even the games that he's not keen to bet on, you get a big preview. So make sure you check it out at littlebirdie.live. $22 a week is a steal. Do we need a quick break, or we just keep chowing through this top rope? I reckon you got a full head of steam after the news of Trent Barrett. I think we punch right through and have a little bit of a look at the NRL round 10 in review, brought to you by TopSport, of course. Let's have a quick look at the scores first. And you got the Knights there, 16-6, in probably one of the lowest scoring games of the round. And I tell you what, the surface has just managed to pull up or get through it. Considering a couple of months ago, it was underwater. You could put a jet ski around Suncorp Stadium. So it's amazing that it's copped so much weather. And some of the scores here are just crazy. The Broncos 38 to zip against Manly. Who would have thought 12 months ago that would be the scoreline at Magic Round? South 32-30. It was a big scare there for the Bunnies. They roared home late, the Warriors. Gold Coast have broken a bit of a drought there, 20-16 over the Dragons. Penrith Panthers, I tell you what, I text Toprope and said, Jerome Hughes is out here, big boy. And I tell you what, he was crying, he was sooking, and he was looking for the cash out button, but not for you, sir. Not for you. 32-6, and no Pap either. So it's going to be a different kettle of fish next time they play. But I think Munster's all over it. They look like a pack of under 12s. Canberra Raiders 30-10 against the Sharks. Bit of soul searching to do there, I would have thought. And Sydney Roosters 31 over a fast finishing Parramatta 24. And North Queensland, plenty of talk around big try and a big assist there, 36-12 over West. You weren't in any of those punch-ups at Suncorp, were you, Top Rope?
No, my punch-ups are mainly kept online and Twitter are Scooty. So, no, I wasn't involved in throwing any haymakers, luckily, because they wouldn't have done too much damage. But, no, big weekend of Magic round. Plenty of Magic there, Scooty, and pleasing to hear that you spent more time watching the Magic than the Australian rules, which was wonderful to hear.
Let's have a look at the bookie wrap for the NRL. Week 10, 3 of 8 favourites covered, so it was a fill-up. Only 2 of 8 covered. The overs went 6 and 8, as we mentioned earlier, and the home teams, well, wasn't really a home and away fixture there anyway.
Home team went 1-0.
1-0 with Adam Reynolds. I tell you what, don't you like all the people, all the Monday morning quarterbacks? How did they trade Reynolds? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just so easy to script some of these pickles. The season favourite, 53.80 at 66%. The covers nearly bang on 50-50 there, 39.80. The overs, a little bit disappointing, 37.80. And then the home team, 50 and 80. So home faves are falling in there. Top Rope, run us through your round 10 result.
We got off to a flyer. The Dogs Newcastle game line went 35.5 to 32.5. Never looked like going over there to incompetent attacks. That was nice to see. Broncos also never in any danger against Manly, so we were flying there. A little stiff with Jerome Hughes being a laid out for Melbourne. That kind of put that one in kind of mortal danger, and so it came to pass. Sharks were utterly dreadful against the Raiders. They were horrific, as bad as I've seen them play this year. So brings up the old adage, never move a good half out to fill another position. So Nico Hines, a fullback, had a shocker. They got nothing out of their halves, so disappointing there. And Tigers plus 9.5. They got blown out in the end, the Tigers, but they battled through a lot of injuries. I thought they played really hard. Probably a little unlucky there. If the full team kind of holds up there, we probably survive.
How's Madge going?
Madge is winning over a few fans. I'm hoping not enough. He would be a nice little fit at Canterbury, actually. So hopefully we'll be able to extricate him from the Tigers. But Look, they're playing hard since they got Jackson Hastings, the halfback. The kind of drums surrounding Michael Maguire have certainly quietened down.
So can I just get that again, just so we can clip that up? You want Madge to go and coach Canterbury?
He wouldn't be my first choice, but he'd be a major upgrade on what we've got. I'll give you a few things, Scooty. One, we're not fit, so at least he can get the team fit. Would be a starting point. Two, I wouldn't give him control of any of the roster, so he could. I think he can coach. I'm just not sure he can recruit. So don't love Michael Maguire, but certainly an upgrade for the Dogs. I'm pushing for Christian Wolf, the St Helens coach. He's the man to save the Bulldogs.
I think you'd rather Alistair Clarkson, and he knows nothing about the game, than Madge Maguire.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at the NRL Premiership market, and as MG alluded to before, there's only a couple of hopes here by the look of things early doors. Penrith Panthers $2.80, Melbourne Storm $3.60, Parramatta Eels $9, Sydney Roosters $9.50, Cronulla is $13, North Queensland Cowboys $17, Rabbits $18, probably missing a zero, Brisbane Broncos $21, Manly Seagulls $21, and that rounds out the major chances here. But Penrith Panthers, I tell you what, they look good in a double with the Ds, I would have thought. Toprope, he's still hanging on to your Storm.
Oh, yeah, look, Storm at the best with Hughes and Pappenhausen, I think are a better team than the Panthers. And you've got to remember that the Storm are missing kind of a fair few players at the moment. Penrith is full strength. So, based on that, it was probably they were entitled to a solid win on Saturday. They were obviously very impressive. They haven't done a lot wrong this year, but I'm so happy to swing with Melbourne.
MG, what do you think? Are you starting to lose a bit of faith? I know you're a big Storm man.
Come on, Scooty, you know better than that. Toprope, we've got a side investment for Melbourne Storm. That's how we buy those second and third houses, so we can come up and holiday with you. No, I'm sticking fat with the Storm. As Toprope said, a couple of big players out, and once they get them back, it'll be a different story next time they meet.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm definitely a little bit nervous about it, but I just keep coming back to their worst performance in that semi-final and just can't get that out of my head. So hopefully the hunger's still there, and as you say, different side with Jerome Hughes in. And what about Cronulla Sharks? I look at that price and I still think that $13 sort of interests me as a complete mug looking at that market, Toprope.
Yeah, I had to put a line through the Sharks' performance yesterday, just based on the fact they were missing some key players, including Will Kennedy, who's been among their best this year. So I could be tempted into the $13. I could be tempted into the $9.50 on the Roosters. And even at long odds, I don't think they're going to win it, but they might give you a run. Adam Reynolds has looked wonderful for the Broncos. $21. I can't believe I'm saying this, considering where I had them at the start of the year, but I'd rather be taking $21 on them than the $16 on offer the Rabbitohs, that's for sure.
It's just hard to fathom that they could win it after the season they had last year, and how many times he sunk the boots into their head coach.
Well, look, Scoot, that's the thing. That's the thing with the greatest game of all, parity. It's a competition. Anything can happen. That's why everyone's tuning into the league and everyone's off the AFL. But yeah, look, I'll be honest, Kevin Walters is not winning a premiership, so it's a value play rather than expecting Kevin Walters to lift the trophy up.
All right. If you want more of Toprope's in-depth analysis, make sure you check out littlebirdie.live, hit the shop there, and then you'll jump into his subscription for his emails, and you'll get his greatest game of all sub with his best bets across the week for $22. But let's have a little bit of a freebie here and a sample with a Thursday night match here, and it's a cracker at McDonald Jones Stadium. We've got the Broncos versus the Newcastle Knights, and the Broncos are $1.37 here at Top Sport. The Knights $3.10, and the line is 7.5. Thoughts here, Toprope? I think it's moved from 8.5, so there's a little bit of action for the plus.
Yeah, I'd rather be on the Knights here early on without kind of having delved too deep into it. I can't put on the Broncos as massive road favourites at this stage. I know the Knights are a pretty horrendous side, struggled to get past Canterbury, but they've won all three games from Mitch Barnett's kind of started and finished this year. He's been a big inclusion for them, so I'd rather be on the Knights with the big start at home.
Okay, so it's the Knights at the plus on Thursday night. Now it's time to bet for charity, and over to you, MG.
Okay, thanks, Scooty. Quick look at Week 10 results there between the three of us. MG's the only one to collect there. So Toprope went all in on the Storm. That was belly up before it started, probably. The Tigers cruised to victory. Scooty's favourite team that I love backing. And Nikki's she's put the Moz on the dockers. That was a crucial blow on the Sunday for myself as well. So she's missed out there. So MG, she's moving up the leaderboard here, Scooty. I don't know if you noticed. They got stuck into me early when I was tailed out last, but now I've just moved up alongside outside Toprope, neck and neck. So 4 and 6, and Nikki is 3 and 7 on the leaderboard. So Toprope for Wayside Chapel for week 11 predictions. Who are we tipping in the NRL early pick?
You know, they say the worst place to be, MG, is outside the leader running at a hot pace. So be careful there, MG. I'm going to run with the Roosters plus 11.5 against the Panthers. I think that line is far too big for a good side.
Roosters, yep, that'll be a good matchup. Myself, I'm going to go Richmond. I'm going to stick fat, actually. Scooty, you'll love this. Richmond minus 20.5 against your Bombers this week. So that will be going in all Scooty's multis. And Scooty, just want to read out Nikki's pick. I think she sent it in to you. She might be in London or on her way to Italy or something. Who is she going to pick?
Just quickly, MG, this is where your Richmond minus bets belong for charity in the fun bet section. Because I tell you what, your ROI on the Tigers the last 18 months or since I've had your little birdie is disgusting. So just keep them here and you'll do really, really well. All right. Nikki's best this week is Port plus 21.5 against the Cats. They got a new head of steam, but I tell you what, it's always heart in your mouth stuff backing the plus down at the Cattery because you know who plays for the Cats down at Geelong, don't you? Toprope, the umpires.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Is there any real big buyer in the AFL? It's an absolute given that Geelong get the rub of the green at home. What's the similar example in the NRL and the rugby league?
Penrith everywhere they play. They almost never travel. When they do travel, they get every call go their way. Penrith get absolutely blessed.
Oh dear. Anyway, no sideswipe retaliation there from the Tigers jab there, MG. I didn't give you much of a chance there, but you can fire back if you like.
No, I'll just go. I'll keep it. I'll collect on the weekend, and I'll fire back at your Essendon. I think I don't know. I'm gonna have to get Borko to dig up the graphic at the start of the year. I believe you and OB might have had Essendon in your top 4. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think OB had Port and Essendon in his top 4, and I think OB was standing up for Carlton as well. So yeah, I think my futures predictions look pretty grim. But I'm happy to have a look at that maybe next week. We might go and have a look at how everyone's early season predictions are going and a bit of egg on face. I'm happy to wear it. I've got thick skin.
I had the Giants in there, so I got one duck in as well. I can remember.
I think Toprope. I don't know who you'd pick a couple of the results in the rugby league either. So I think it's a good little homework assignment. Let's dig it out and put it on next week's run sheet and see what the tail of the tape says on how much of experts we were pre-season.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll eagerly await coach sacking because that's what we love here. We love the game, but we love it when coaches get absolutely rissoled, and it looks like there's blood in the water at Canterbury Bulldogs. So expect a fired up Toprope on Friday's show when we have a look at Friday lines. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel, and you can get the podcast on the Google or the Spotify apps. And jump around us at littlebirdie.live if you want our subscription tips for all AFL and NRL. Follow these blokes. They know a lot more about it than me. We'll see you next week.